would DeVries betray her fellow agents like that? A rhetorical question. I already know. Just making conversation.
My noggin sure is sore.
No reason to reason with you.
Welcome. Have you come to bask in the Order's knowledge?
Commander, you got a minute to talk? I got some thoughts on this situation with the refugees. The number of folks seeking refuge from the war is, well, it's beyond what I expected. And beyond what the Order is capable of handling, seems like. Andes may not be faring much better here, but we could at least find enough work for these folk to buy some food. I mean, we ain't gonna give up our cots for what could be the enemy. We're doing what we gotta do to keep our heads on our shoulders. It's a tough situation, that's all I'm saying. But if the Order can't even manage tens of folk at their doorstep, they ain't gonna manage much better should they win the war. But nothing's ever really free, is it? I went through this myself when Andy's Choice took over Tau Ceti. It took time to secure the merger, but once they did, we folk got the help we needed real quick. And all they wanted in return was the signing of an employment contract. Now, I ain't seeing any contracts in Matriarch's Mercy. So what is the Order actually gaining by doing this? They'd have to be evil to even think of them as such. And they'd have to be stupid to think that's a line nobody would cross. The Order doesn't strike me as either. Anyhow, if the Order is in fact helping these folk with no hidden aims, then, well, I'll be the first to admit that there might just be merit in what they're selling. Appreciate you hearing me.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's Mercy is no safer than the trenches.
Look on the bright side. I predict that the worst is behind us.
We're not going anywhere! Not on the basis of some half-baked prediction. This so-called exclusion zone is where we stake our claim. Stand with me in defense of freedom!
Except for the fact you ain't yelling and trying to eat me. I'd have pegged you as some sort of prosperous scrapper by the rough look you got about you. You do got a certain feral look in your eye, though. Okay. I give up. Tell me. Cheers to that, friend. When war looms its ugly head, adaptation is key. May Huffstutler, formerly Auntie's Choice, Department of Invasive Marketing. Now, the voice of the displaced. That's what those in the Order call me, leastways. An unofficial sobriquet, likely meant as a petulant slight. On account I object. Louder. More often than the rest. Those of us ended up here have very little except needs. I turn those into demands for reasons of clarity and import. Some are former Auntie's Choice like me. Some were abandoned by the Protectorate. All of us have been displaced by conflict somehow, directly or otherwise. Happy as I am to make your acquaintance, I'm busy staking our claim over the exclusion zone, so if you'll excuse me. The exclusion zone. The Order has decided to keep us out thanks to some nebulous prediction of disaster. Screw their predictions. We have people displaced by war and disaster, in sore need of space. There's plenty of room to house them. This camp keeps us safe from the war, and now the Order wants to keep us safe from the camp? Where are we supposed to go? I honestly don't give the slightest whit about the Order's idea of math or whatever calculation tells them that a catastrophe may or may not occur. I couldn't get anywhere with Administrand Agel, but you, maybe you'll have better luck. Even the Order, for all of their logical ways, value an outside perspective. And because I've run out of options. Thanks, stranger. Maybe fate's on our side for a change. You can find Agarwal in the lift building, probably formulating another equation to get on my nerves.
We go now. Another refugee camp? Another colony?
I predict, with an 8.23 margin of error, that our situation will improve in time.
Stop it with the predictions. You don't even know multivariable calculus.
Just trying to cheer you up.
$1,068.5 pardons, but my attention is presently 99.81% occupied, coordinating provisions and supplies for the displaced. I have zero allotted time for random queries, at present or in the foreseeable future. But very well. As the assigned provisioner, I am responsible for coordinating the requisition and distribution of comestibles, medicinals, and miscellaneous vital supplies. The overwhelming majority of my time is dedicated to this, leaving only moments to see to the Order's needs in the settlement. But it is an effort I undertake with great relish. You may not have noticed, but the refugees do not want for food or medicine. The Order of the Ascendant is dedicated to the ascension of humanity. Our ultimate goal may not be reached in our lifetime. If I can help others in need today, I shall do so to the utmost extent of my abilities and resources. With the great disruption that has occurred to their lives, one can hardly blame them. That they are fed and remain healthy is sufficient for me. Appreciate you respecting my time.
What is it? I have 15 seconds of allotted time for non-specific discourse, so choose your words with expediency. Oh, don't tell me. You're here on behalf of the voice of the displaced, aren't you? Mathematical predictions always keep us one step ahead. My latest augury noted that a stranger would come bearing an inconvenient message. This is about the exclusion zone, correct? Fair enough. The exclusion zone is a mere corner of Matriarch's mercy, and rightfully off limits. You see, the seer predicted that a calamity would befall the exclusion zone, warning that the barrier must not be crossed. But the ever-disruptive voice of the displaced is dead set on occupying the exclusion zone anyway, laughing in the face of certain peril. We don't know, and therein lies the frustration. The seer has augured death for anyone who enters the exclusion zone. Yes, you heard me right. Death. Furthermore, and I quote, "An outside mediator, having earned the confidence of both sides, has a high likelihood of clearing up an ongoing dispute." And now the voice has involved you. How auspicious. Perhaps you are the outside mediator who was foretold. I believe only in the cold, inconvenient mathematics of the cosmos. This will work. It must work. The first step is to familiarize yourself with every angle of the dispute. Talk to the people of Matriarch's mercy. The displaced want the exclusion zone, want it kept off limits. We can't both be right. With your seasoned perspective, perhaps the voice of the displaced will learn to listen. Any questions before you get started? I can tell you she's a rabble-rouser of the highest order. Still, she cleaves to her principles. That's something. You can find her outside, among her people, stubbornly defying an order barricade. But you already knew that. Novizier Vicarage should have ample time to illuminate you on the Order's forecast modeling methods. He's just down the room from here. According to predictions, yes. Or at least, my interpretation of them. I am reasonably certain, more than usual, in fact. Many people around camp support or object to our methods. Speak to them, form your own opinion, and when you are ready, we will decide the fate of the exclusion zone.
By the law. It's you. Oh, thank the architect you're finally here. I've scarcely breathed while hoping you'd come. I am in desperate need of your help. True, but the Order's predictions know you better than you know yourself. Recently, I had a rare opportunity to ask the Seer for guidance. He told me that a dashing outsider would answer my prayers. I feared the prediction was a fluke, but here you are, a dashing outsider standing before me. Strictly speaking, it isn't. Not yet. But the math is very, very, very good at predicting what is probably most likely extremely possible. In theory. Within a margin of error. Anyway, that is the Seer's business. My business is the health and welfare of this camp. Where to begin? There are so many sick and wounded in Matriarch's Mercy, and I have but 2 imperfect hands. I am but a humble general practitioner. What I really need are specialists, and the seer predicted an outsider would find them. As a doctor, I'm appalled. We don't have enough beds or private quarters to separate people, so sickness is blazing an unhappy trail through the refugees. Of course, the Order keeps us well supplied with meds, but things will get worse as long as we're overcrowded. Yes, I can treat sickness as it arises. It would be leagues better to prevent it entirely. That means space to spread out. Since you asked, you can run this medicine to Horst Lamping. Just don't shake the man's hand. He has a habit of coughing into his palm when he covers it at all. My thanks, stranger. Probability is on our side. The seer gave me a datapad with explicit instructions that I not read it, for my intervention could only throw probability into disarray. Now, take the datapad, with my thanks. How can I be of service? Since you aren't a refugee, I hope you understand that I cannot offer my goods free of charge, but my prices are fair.
You're right. The universe does not orient itself toward fairness. But it's my firm belief humanity can do better.
All evidence to the contrary.
I pleasantly anticipated this exact moment. My personalized order prediction and weekly prognostics report both mentioned encountering an unforeseen factor about now. I suppose that designation doesn't wholly apply to you, though, does it? Predicting future events is an imprecise science. Currently, that is. Well, then, I read that you'd have questions about our predictive methods, correct? We utilize a mix of proprietary research methods to gather as complete a data set as possible, and advanced calculations using well-honed models to effectuate it. None of us predict events with complete accuracy or absolute detail. We'd need to solve the universal equation to do that. Fortunately, we're all working very hard on that problem. The Department of Predictive Analysis provide weekly prognostics reports and personalized order predictions to help steer our followers' paths. The Department of Predictive Analysis is mainly populated by seers like myself, who represent the Order's most talented mathematicians. After years of study, some can predict events a few seconds or minutes into the future with reasonable precision. Others can estimate with up to 71.1% accuracy several months out. Of course, predictions have grown more difficult with the loss of the archive, but I am not to speak of that with an outsider. No offense. The former are generalized forecasts for groups or settlements. The latter are more specialized to individuals and take far more time to calculate. Usually some are handled by one of the more senior seers in a region. But with Seer Wiley's days taken up advising the abbots and other things, this responsibility falls to me. Notably, I have built up a bit of a sizable backlog. Matriarch's Mercy is brimming beyond capacity with those cast out by war. But we of the Order rise to every challenge and continually strive to better our guests' existence. Why, I, for instance, have availed my predictive methods to our refugee neighbors in the area. There's nothing more practical than improving lives now, is there? We've offered the displaced access to our weekly prognostics reports and personalized order predictions. Engagement is admittedly rather low, but at least one member of the camp reports he has benefited from them greatly. One of our recent guests, Rollo Nast, has received multiple personalized order predictions. I believe he could speak to the effectiveness of our ways firsthand. If my own humble assertions are not enough, I trust his attestations would convince you, and perhaps other members of the displaced as well. True, my situation does lack a certain refinement. Regrettably, this is Matriarch's Mercy. We all must do the best we can with limited means. I foresee you have much to do. I won't keep you. Adieu.
Ah, you must be the, Earth Directorate agent I was told to expect. Your punctuality is commendable. Allow me to welcome you to Golden Ridge. I'm afraid I've no refreshments available, but can I interest you in a customary debate over decidability? Yes, the presiding bishop sent word of your imminent arrival. However, due to our need for compartmentalization, she was scant on the details of your mission. That said, I've been instructed to assist you however I can. So, tell me, what brings you to Golden Ridge? Victor? Yes, Archivist Clemens. Quite the mind. Such encyclopedic knowledge of engineering. One could almost mistake him for an exemplar. Is he in some kind of trouble?
Victor Clemens, some kind of radical. What an absurd notion.
I must agree with my seer. I once watched Victor shed copious tears over a damaged datapad. It's difficult to imagine him capable of worse. And that may well be true. But our standard of proof within the Order is not normally met by hearsay alone. Victor's currently supervising highly experimental research at one of our labs to the northwest, the Enray Range, beyond the invaders' front lines. Unfortunately, you'll need to go through the decommissioned autonomous extractorium to reach it. That path is less than safe, so I advise caution.
What business is it of yours?
Let's not be unfriendly. The agent's only curious. Obviously, Victor's work has something to do with N-rays, but beyond that, I haven't a clue. More of that pesky compartmentalization, I'm afraid. Besides the highly caustic Zeranium River and the Mantisaurs, we've also received reports of mad cultists in the area. It does make me wonder why Victor decided to stay.
Fascinating. Your fear response must be suffering from some impairment. Likely the result of a traumatic brain injury. I'd have to open you up to be sure.
A generous offer, my friend, but I don't think the agent is interested in exploratory surgeries at the moment. Rift worshippers spouting inane theories. They've been showing up prior to the invasion. The first sign of dysfunction in the Protectorate always starts small, doesn't it? Loath as I am to admit it, there may be some merit to your worries over a conspiracy within the Order, whether Victor is involved or not. As my predecessor would remind me, denying unpleasant facts is not good science. I would be remiss if I failed to support an investigation. No doubt you heard of the recent attack launched on that Anti's Choice base, Outpost Opportunity. It came from one of our facilities, the Zeranium Manufactory. But that facility is intended for research, not military action. I hate thinking an Order member responsible, but given the precision of the attack, it does suggest traitors amidst. It would undoubtedly benefit both of us to root them out.
Respectfully, Scholar, given current tensions, should we really be trusting such a delicate task to this stranger? Would an internal review of our ranks not be more appropriate? Choosing levity at a moment like this is only further evidence of your lack of good judgment.
I don't dispute the need for discretion, my friend. But the presiding bishop made the determination to send the agent to us. It's best we trust her calculations. Moreover, our situation is growing increasingly dire. I can't overstate my fears concerning this most recent attack ending the ceasefire and reigniting the war in Golden Ridge. One more thing. Your investigation into the traitors takes precedence, but if you could also render aid at Outpost Opportunity on our behalf, such a gesture might preserve the peace. Most assuredly not. It would eliminate the entire point of the ceasefire. Please convey that fact to whomever you speak with. I knew I could rely upon you. Ruth wouldn't have sent you otherwise. Here, take the writ of investigative inquiry. It'll grant you access to the manufactory. Seer Wiley and I will conduct our own inquest into these traitors you've mentioned erstwhile. We can compare notes once you've returned with your findings. Illuminating the path to true erudition is an abbot's moral duty. Whatever I can tell you, I will.
A calling for those with a greater than average talent for mathematics and computation, particularly in the field of predictive analysis.
Seer Wily is being too modest about his contributions. Many in the Order rely on Seers for their indispensable counsel. I myself would be lost without mine. No, it's not like that at all. Our bond is an equitable partnership built upon a foundation of mutual respect and dedication to the plan. In fact, what would you put our combined efficacy rate at these days, Wily?
I won't trouble our good agent here with the exact calculation, but the percentage is considerable.
I dread the day your immeasurable talent finally propels you into the upper echelons. Truly, Landon, the Order doesn't realize what it has in you. That is a statue of the matriarch, Alexandra Varric, Arcadia's founder and for whom the monastery was named after. Regrettably, Alexandra Monastery is closed to non-Order members at the moment, given recent troubles. But perhaps Seer Wily can give us an estimation of its reopening.
Oh, certainly. According to my calculations, the monastery will be accessible to certain members of the public shortly.
Ha! Good news indeed. Oh, you really must visit. The observatory is a true sight to behold.
Have you beheld that new rifle up at the monastery? The Oracle?
The one Wily designed, right? Uses a tracking algorithm, never misses. Sounds ambitious, even for him.
I'd give my tenure for an hour alone with it and a Mantisaur at 2 clicks.
Welcome back. Any luck enlisting help?
Hope you appreciate how I bit my tongue back there with the abbot. Didn't want things to come to blows with civilians in the crossfire. Full of excuses for the attack, wasn't he? Could be that he's sincere. Or could be that he has his hands so full with keeping his community from falling apart that he missed a memo or two. Either way, I'm willing to stay my hand until we know the truth. If it were my folk buried under the rubble, if Ortiz was among them, I'd want to know for certain before acting. Besides, ain't nobody around here better suited for investigating than we are. Sure won't, but it could be the difference between an all-out conflict and a strategic reparation. I know which one I prefer. While we're at it playing detective, we need to scope out opportunity. If there are any survivors, we ought to help, however we're able. I can only hope they aren't enough to run for cover. If they didn't, well, there's only so much basic training can prepare you for. Once endured a week-long bombardment in a foxhole with only enough rations to last 3 days. Screams went on twice that long. Some of us still ain't fully recovered. We should move on, unless you've got something for me? We need to help the folk at Opportunity, Commander. Void the Abbot. He's more concerned with exonerating his own than with making things right.
My time is yours. You may peruse to your heart's content, but do so speedily for my sake.
What happened to this place? Law. Matriarch's Mercy is no safer than the trenches.
Look on the...
I suppose I can give you the time of day. Vexing. We're at the mercy of the Order, and the Order is at the mercy of their predictions. Not to insult our gracious hosts, but these people don't wipe themselves unless an equation tells them to.
A visitor. Without notice. Hello. You weren't mentioned in my latest personalized order prediction. Granted, I mostly skim the parts what don't cover probabilistic dangers, so perhaps you were alluded to in some, roundabout fashion. Suppose that means you're not a threat. So that's good, right? Yeah, I reckon that's good. I'll say, I try not to make any big plans until I consult my latest POP. First time I got a POP, it was on a lark. It said, Rolo Nast, our seer has predicted you must wear a helmet today. I borrowed one. As a laugh, everybody ribbed me about it. Just after lunch, wind picked up on the above and dropped a mock apple 152 meters straight down onto my head. Fortunately, I still had that brain case on. If you want an exact estimate or percentage, talk to them. As for me, I just got that, anecdotal feedback. A few times, I couldn't make heads or tail of half of it. Like, avoid anything representing whole numbers? I didn't know what to do about that. So I just put, end of the day, I'm still here, and my co-occupant Ike isn't. So, I guess them prognostications work well enough. You did catch the part I said they'd save my life, right? I think alive is a notable improvement on dead. That's something you can take to the bank, Figuratively speaking. I don't know why the other displaced have been so slow to take to them. But I'm not complaining too loud. Waited for my latest POPs long enough already.
Where do we go now?
Predetermined order
Another
to
refugee
entire
camp?
universe.
Another colony?
I predict, with an 8.23 margin of error,
Keep your lamps lit. Trouble, there's always opportunists willing to profit from it.
You don't even know multivariable calculus.
just trying to cheer you up.
You got business? No? Move on. Earth who? Name of what now? You got some kind of ague? I definitely ain't letting you in if you got the ague. Reckon you at least know how to oil the gears of Ingress. Likely you ain't some protectorate or Order stoolie. But I'm still gonna be watching. Go ahead. Salutations, friend. Not many find their way into my presence. Those that do possess only the finest of tastes. I do hope you'll pardon the rigmarole it took to meet me. The Order has such an antiquated philosophy on the smuggling of contraband. We stand that we'd like to make a good ton of bits on the war, and maybe expand our reach in the process. Beyond that, I'm not supposed to comment. But Sub Rosa consists primarily of ex-Anti's Choice and ex-Protectorate personnel. We've still got folks we care about out there. Complicates some of our feelings on the fight. But if the fighting stops, our income begins to go dry. It's superb cover and a consistent market. Refugees are in need of all sorts of supplies that the Order cannot provide, and Sub Rosa delivers, at only a reasonable mark. Myself, I enjoy the thrills of the environ. Will the Order attempt to drive me out? Will Matriarch's mercy be shelled? Shall I run out of new cereals? Oh, thrilling! Well put. So long as that zest isn't the taste of blood. Feast thine eyes on the merchandise. Don't do anything foolish.
Greetings. What can I help you with? Let me guess. One of your co-occupants is always hanging up his or her britches in your corner of the yurt. Am I right? Or you're dealing with more of a stay off my palate or that's my air you're breathing sort of thing. Pray elucidate the exact nature of your tiff of contention. We offer a wide array of proxy altercations, from restrained bludgeoning to flat-out scraps. Here, in Matriarch's Mercy, if you're not a member of the Order, you're probably living close to somebody else. In some cases, sleeping on top of them. Sort of thing tends to cause friction between neighbors. would lead to fights, but nobody here wants trouble with the Order. So they hire our hooligans to battle by proxy. It's the Order, so they don't kick you out or nothing. It's all community betterment volunteering. If you're former Auntie's Choice, it Max kind of like work for free. If you're former Protectorate and it don't involve Automax, it's all terrifyingly mystifying somehow. We say whoever wins the fight wins the argument. But frankly, it's never anything of consequence, like, okay, hurrah! This guy gets back his mangy button. Now, how can I help you exactly? Ugh, a tourist. Well, clear out then, huh? Can't have you scaring off real customers. I got a bunch of yeggs, 2 pugilized pugilists, and a sick canid to feed.
Look, your nose was just a stand-in for Duarte's nose.
Don't feel like no stand-in.
Oh, my aching head.
What caused the schism between the Protectorate and the Order? The Consul tried to kill presiding Bishop Ruth Bassar, but we saw that coming. Friends, neighbors, while you shelter in Matriarch's mercy, heed the teachings of the Order.
Watch yourself if you intend to nose around that collapsed ramshackle. I swear, refugee settlements aren't what they used to be. Oh yeah, Duarte. He's former antis like me. He was underneath for a few hours. Or, no, that was before. This time it was Rollo Nast? No. Gert Valkenburg. Happens a lot. People here need more room to breathe. Can't build in the walkways, can't set up in the exclusion zone. So they build up. Best they can, at least. Don't have proper building material or nothing. They just make do. After a while, the stacked up little huts they jury-rigged come tumbling down. Oh, you put that together, did you? Here, I thought I was being subtle. Yeah, people keep at it. What else choice they have? Order won't listen. Maybe if we interspersed our requests with numbers, they'd pay attention. Seems like all they care about sometimes.
A taste this transcendent can only be formulated by the order of the Ascendant. The future of nourishment is here. Apogee chips, shelf-stable and intestinally safe. Tomorrow's favorite snack is available today from the Order of the Ascendant.
There is an art to cooking. Alas, I am a man of science.
Since the
not
schism,
art.
the Protectorate have rewritten history to exclude our teachings.
Where do we go now? Another refugee camp? Another...
Oh. Administrant Agarwal. Here to finally hash this out, are you? Thought this day would never come.
Yes, well, our esteemed outsider here has agreed to thoroughly appraise our situation, in the hope that we may finally close the book on the exclusion zone once and for all.
They say you asked around. Listen to folks. That's a good start, at least.